What is a rebuild? A rebuild is getting your body fat to a percentage that you're proud of in a way that is sustainable.
A lot of people miss the mark. It's in the name. It's a rebuild. A rebuild really is rebuilding people from the ground up in a number of different ways.
Sometimes people come in with this delusion that they can do 3 workouts a week, not sleep 8 hours, piss up on the weekends, have a cheat meal during the week, and still get a result.
Most coaches who get you in a calorie deficit or just put you on a program, their end goal is a sexy before and after photo. Our goal is for you to come into the system and have a high level of discipline and accountability of the program so that you can get the result, but you can also get a body that's going to allow you to maintain it as well from there.
A lot of the guys that are big, 120 kilos plus, they can't do boot camps. They can't do 60 minutes of walking because they're carrying too much weight.
Everyone wants really quick results.
If you want to get there faster, number one. All right, welcome to episode 15, Coach's Corner with MPT Originals. Coach Eman, Coach Joe. Today, we don't know what we're talking about, but we're going to make it up as we go. I think what we'll talk about is what is a rebuild? Because between the three of us, the number one, we could call it a frustration or a challenge at the moment, is I think articulating what an actual rebuild is as a result. You know, we don't want to be necessarily known for people that help men lose 10 kilos of fat and get in good enough shape. You know, for me, I've tried to break down the rebuild into 3 categories: fat loss, muscle gain, fixing your metabolism. But I think a lot of people don't have the width to understand that. So for me, I mean, a rebuild is getting your body fat to a percentage that you're proud of and that you like, that brings you confidence, it brings you good health, it brings you energy in a way that is sustainable. That's pretty much the shortest way I think I can mention what a rebuild is. There's a lot of things that go into that. You need to shift identity, who you see yourself as. You need to change your standards. You need to change your habits. You need to be quite realistic with what that is, depending on your genetics. You need to have a focus on muscle building and not on just losing fat through cardio. There's a lot to it. So I would articulate it like that. How would you two articulate it?
Well, I think the easiest way to articulate it to someone who's not aware is just highlighting the point of difference as to what it is that we do versus the rest of the fitness industry. And then you eliminate the rest and you get a rebuild. So from our side of things, I guess the end goal that we get our guys is the ability to maintain the result in a way that's sustainable for them, something that suits their routine and lifestyle. And they've also got a body that is allowing them to maintain that result as well by an increase of metabolism, increase of high natural testosterone levels, increase of lean muscle mass. That's what we're doing that is different to the rest of the fitness industry. And you can't rebuild your body and maintain the result unless you've done those things. From my perspective, that's what a rebuild actually is.
Pretty good.
I think a lot of people miss the mark and they forget it's in the name. It's a rebuild, right? A lot of people come to us and then expect that their, I'll be honest, shitty standards will allow them to still be maintained and get them to that place that they want to go. They want to get to that 10% body fat, or they want to be in great shape with everything that they've brought into the program. And so a rebuild really is rebuilding people from the ground up in a number of different ways. And yes, we are, you know, to your point, to both of your points, absolutely, we're trying to make it work for you, you know, given your circumstances, your lifestyle and background and all these other different bits and pieces. And we're always trying to find where you sit on the scale of good, better, and best. But there's always going to be some sort of sacrifice you need to make from how you were living to how you want to live the rest of your life. Otherwise, you'd be there already.
I like it. Yeah, it's spot on.
End the podcast there.
Done. Well, because you're 100% right. What we do is lifestyle implementation is the word that I use. We have a rebuild system that is rigid regarding how much protein the individual needs to take in, sleep, water, frequency of training, which just means how many times a week you can go. We will adapt that around your lifestyle via building out a customized schedule for you around what time you train, what time you eat, if you're a snacker, if you like sweet snacks, savory snacks, if you snack at night, what kind of foods and access to different things you want. Do you want a liquid breakfast? Would you like a solid breakfast? Do you want meals on wheels? Do you want a takeout option? Would you like to meal prep? Would you like it to be, you name it, right? But like what you're saying is sometimes people come in with this delusion that they can do 3 workouts a week, not sleep 8 hours, piss up on the weekends, have a cheat meal during the week, have 6 lunch options, which they take the 7th on, which is McDonald's on the way home, and still get a result. And you guys aren't catering to my needs. And it's very difficult and challenging to remain calm and say, your needs are why you look how you look at the moment. So maybe you need to take inventory of how badly do you want to look and feel better versus how addicted are you to those poor habits at the moment.
Absolutely.
Fair?
Nail on the head. It's reassessing what is a need and what's a want. But also recognizing that sometimes to get those things that you want, like for instance, your preferences, let's call them, you need to build up to that. And you can't have that right from the get-go. Otherwise, we can't rebuild you.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
And almost repeating myself here, but in terms of obviously the process around getting our guys from A to B, current physique, to their end goal, and then B to C, which is maintaining their end goal. I think the main reason why a lot of guys will get hung up on us potentially not tailoring to their needs is they expect that the commitment to the process is going to be obviously a big commitment and quite restrictive. The reality is if you do it properly, that restrictive commitment is not going to be there forever. You can get to a point where your lifestyle is a lot more sustainable, but you have to stick to it in a consistent manner to get that result as well. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And that is another big difference between a rebuild versus the rest of the fitness industry. Most coaches who get you in a calorie deficit or just put you on a program, their end goal is a sexy before and after photo. It's pretty much what they're looking for. They don't really have a ton of invested interest in what actually happens beyond that before and after photo.
Yeah.
And for most guys, they just put the weight straight back on. Our goal is for you to come into the system and have a high level of discipline and accountability of the program so that you can get the result, but you can also get a body that's going to allow you to maintain it as well from there so that you can go back to the cake or having a beer on the weekend in moderation and start to enjoy and live your lifestyle again. Because the end goal isn't just a before and after photo. It's being able to maintain that in a way that's sustainable. You're not going to get that in other places.
Yeah.
From our perspective, I've done thousands of application calls over the years, and I have not come across another system that does what we do. I just haven't.
Because it's difficult. And it's very
Yeah.
challenging as the coaches that are trying to educate the men through this. Some are great. Some get it, they understand it, they appreciate it, and others just hell-bent on self-sabotaging one way or another.
look, the best thing the best tool, one of the
Can't
best.
hear you again, man.
Oh, there we
Someone
go.
will complain.
All right.
The program's not working because
Thank
the
you.
audio in
Thank
the
you.
podcast is not good enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm sorry, guys.
You got to cater to that need.
I'll do better next time.
Please do.
I think there's something that I like to use or an analogy I like to use with a lot of guys to help them get an idea and understanding of what we do. Because if this is done properly, it is actually the quickest route to get to where they want to go as well.
Agree.
Right? Everyone wants really quick results. To get that end piece where, not only from a health perspective, you're rebuilt and you're feeling your best, looking your best, but also maximizing your potential, maximizing your metabolism, maximizing what you could otherwise achieve, which then sets you up with a solid foundation to then achieve more down the track. Following along what we do, it is so intricate because there is so many different things going at play in everyone's lifestyles. There's so many variables that go into a day-to-day of a human being. The body wants to be robotic. The body wants to achieve what we call homeostasis, right? It wants to always work as functional as possible. And what happens is it makes trade-offs in other places in order to do that. So if you're cheating on your diet or doing these few things here and there, even as little as 1% can take away from the overall result you're going to have from your week, right? The more that compounds and the longer that you go through that, the more drastically it actually affects your result in the program and what you're doing with us. So when we harp on about 100% militant compliance, and mind you, it's compliance of what you've talked about with your coach. It's not what Mike necessarily set for you in your first week. It's what did you and your coach talk about every 7 days. So you're essentially resetting the meal plan every 7 days. Does it change every 7 days? No. That's because if you make too many drastic changes, like we said before, the body freaks out, and we can't make those progressive steps that accumulate to this massive change. So everyone, I guess guys who are in the program and guys who are coming into the program need to realize there is a very big sense of, I don't want to say sacrifice. It's not really sacrifice.
Trade-off.
Correct. Yeah. It's a trade-off of, okay, I'm going to stick to this thing that, I've obviously paid very good money for and put my trust and faith in these guys that they know what they're talking about to get me where I want to get to, so that by the end of this, I have the best result possible. I've done it in the best way, and I've actually done it in the quickest way that I could possibly do it.
Yeah. And that's the adherence equation.
Yeah.
You know, you want to get there faster, you need to be 100% adherent.
Definitely.
And like what you're saying is perfect. Like what you do to rebuild is not what you have to continue to do to maintain that result. You know, but to rebuild, the fastest way to get there is to trust the process and be 100% compliant, you know, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. I think that's a big issue, is people are motivated to be compliant, you know, through emotion. When they're motivated, they're pumped up, they're fired up. But then when that goes, they, you know, sometimes they don't have the discipline or the habits or that identity that we were speaking about on the previous podcast to be able to kind of default into doing it anyway. And a lot of people don't do the tough things that they don't want to do unless they're feeling like it. That's why. Yeah.
Do you want to, sorry, this is going to be a different direction to go down, but do you want to give some context around how MPT actually got here? Like I think it's one thing for us to sit here and say, look, we're doing something the rest of the fitness industry has never done before. To a degree, I would say that we are.
Yeah.
How have we gotten here, and how have we realized that that is what clients actually need? Why has MPT developed into a rebuild?
Well, I mean, you know, all our clients' stories speak for it in terms of the, you know, every success story we've had, everyone's kind of said the same thing, that they've been through all the diets that are out there, all the different coaches, all the different things that have happened, and myself included. Like anyone who's followed my success story and goes and watches that video knows I've had 12 coaches before mine, 12 separate coaches. I relatively knew how to train. The training's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is everything else surrounding that. Right. And that's what I think is the biggest difference, because I've had so many coaches put me on a diet plan, like so many, and it's always the same, exactly what you said, right? Put you in a calorie deficit. Let's get the sexy before and after picture. No idea how to maintain it. No idea how to build your metabolism or even any care for, you know, your lifestyle, your factors, what a day looks like for you. Again, no two human beings are the same, right? So it's impossible to just based on numbers on a sheet go, great, cool, we're moving in the right direction, we're tracking good, or to help people get the I guess the tools they need to actually overcome the week, or to set it up in the best way that they're going to win and going to be successful, right? If you're just looking at numbers, it's like, great, follow again. It's like, well, hey, X, Y, and Z didn't work for me. Well, why? And that's a biggest difference, is we work with people on the why and the how so that they can achieve it.
What was the question again?
Essentially, how have we gotten to this level of kind of customization and detail and workmanship with our clients? Because in terms of the industry, like, I'm not lying when I say that I have not seen another program out there do what we do.
No, they don't.
Speak to a lot of different guys who've tried a lot of different programs. We've got ex-clients of just about every single system out there that you can imagine. Consistently, we have guys enroll into the program who are ex-clients of other programs out there that are in the online space. And I'll even speak to guys who get on the phone with me and go, I've done one of these before. I'm just sitting there going, I can guarantee you haven't. So for you, how has MPT gotten to this point where, from our perspective, for the guys who understand it, and the purpose behind these podcasts, we're trying to make you, the viewer, understand what the difference is. How have we actually gotten to a point where we are doing something so differently? And maybe to kind of spoon feed you the answer, because I think the point of difference is the fact that we just haven't been able to see guys maintain their health and fitness. So we had to try something different to be able to get you to that point in time. Where you can have success long term. Maybe just walk us through the timeline of developing that more well thought out process.
Well, it's been adaptive. So when I went online originally, I thought it was going to be more about natty gains, you know, helping young guys make supernatural gains, right? So people want to look amazing naturally, was where I was, because that's what I've done as a natural bodybuilder. And then I realized that there wasn't much of a market for that, because that was around the time that C-Bum went viral. And Chris Bumstead, as you guys know, was far from natural. He's spending a lot of money trying to fix his health that's been damaged from steroid abuse in his 20s. But he was the most popular thing in the fitness industry, and I was unable to compete with him. Why? How could I? Nobody cares about being natural anymore these days, you know. So I realized that I was swimming upstream as far as a marketing standpoint and what's going on in the living organism known as the marketplace. So it was around that time that I had Suki come on board, who was a big fella, had a lot of weight to lose. And I always knew how to reverse diet, so how to after you have done a comp and come all the way down on low calories, how to kind of slowly increase calories as you go. And if you do it right, your muscles will take those calories like a sponge, and you fill out and you get bigger and you put on a new layer of size, etc. So I was like, I can do this the other way around. So I can start calories quite low. I can feed into the marketplace's need of wanting to lose a lot of weight quickly. And we can do it in a way that's healthy by looking after their protein, what they eat, and making sure that their fats are at a minimal kind of level, which is usually about 40 to 50, depending on how big the client is. And then we can increase calories by 70, 80, 100 per week for as long as the client can continue to do that while they're losing weight. And that's kind of what created the rebuild. And then after that, as I started getting on, as in getting from early 30s to late 30s, I was like, a lot of people don't want to be tracking calories forever. And they don't want to be either cutting or bulking. You know, cutting or bulking is a very in-industry term. The average kind of guy that just wants to look and feel good for his family and kids doesn't really want to do cutting and bulking every 6 or 3 months. So how can we rebuild somebody, get their fat down low to a point where they can maintain it? And that was where we worked on that after part. So we start calories low, we build them up for as high as we can, we cut them down if we need to, depending on how big the client is. Again, like what Eman's saying is everybody's very unique, so it's very difficult to paint just one fucking brush. I can paint one brush if the bloke has 50 kilos of fat and 80 kilos of muscle, then I can give you an answer. But if he's got 30 kilos and 60 kilos of muscle, then it's a slightly different process. But it's all very systemized. So start low, we build it up, might have to cut it back down, and then we want to do a reverse diet at the end, or a lean gain phase, right? And that gets the client back up to 2,500, 3,000, sometimes a little bit more, depending on the clients. We've got lots of examples of guys that have done that. And then at that point, because they've been with us for long enough, they've learnt everything, they've had the education, not drummed in, but kind of explained to them multiple times with either me or the co-coach, or being around and watching this and going through the YouTubes and all the rest of it, that they then know how to intuitively eat to maintain it. Couple that with they now have a new sense of identity as somebody that does look after their health, they do prioritize their sleep, the non-negotiables training, and that's kind of how the rebuild has formed. And then as we've grown, we've had more and more people really like the sound of that, and they've come in and they've been documented by us. You're the cameraman, you know. We filmed 15 last year, looking to do 20 this year, and that's kind of where we're at. And with online stuff, it's one of those things where you've got to be leading the movement yourself. And I don't track calories. I eat intuitively and can maintain a half-decent physique that gets a lot of compliments about being on steroids online. And I can do that because I follow my system. I'm rebuilt and I'm maintaining that. And as the years go on, I'm happy to prove that that is very easy to maintain without TRT. So I'm very passionate about that now because that's what I enjoy. And I'm like, fuck, if people my age could look and feel how I look, I know what that does for my confidence, running quite a large business, employing 12 people now. You know, just how I feel in myself, walking down the street, meeting new people, whatever it may be. I'd love every other bloke my age to look and feel that way as well. So it's a bit of a passion project as well now. So it's all just kind of evolved into this soup, if you will. And like you said, the fact that nobody's doing it is great because most people don't have the knowledge. The people that probably do have the knowledge, like your Lane Nortons and guys like this, they're too overqualified to want to work one-on-one with people like that. So they go off and they build apps and they go viral and they do books and stuff like that. Like he's making a killing. When I met him in 2013, he wasn't. He was like bankrupt. So he spent that time building a brand around his education and what he'd done in the industry to then be able to give the small fee to many kind of model. So he has an app that does all the calculations for you, which would probably work to a degree, but it's not going to work to our degree because there's no nuance. So the reason no one else does it is because not many people have the knowledge how to do reverse dieting and how to do that kind of stuff. A lot of maybe bodybuilding coaches that do know how to reverse diet, they only work with bodybuilders. And they go into that niche and they're passionate about bodybuilding, which I'm not anymore. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in that sub-niche. So we do rebuilds. And my time in network marketing, yes, pyramid scheme, had a crack at that for a good 4 or 5 years before I started NPT. That taught me a lot about human psychology and how to coach and lead and, help people see the best in themselves as well is a big thing too that we work on a lot with our clients. Like, the guy we had on in the last podcast, almost needs like reinforcement and reminding. So I learned a lot about that as well. So that kind of has been able to be put into the rebuild as part of the package. That's how I'm going to answer that question.
Wow.
Some people are ready to hear it, some people aren't.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's just again, if we go back to marketing, you want to be able to speak things in a way where fifth graders can understand it. And because our result is such a complex result and it's so individualized, depending on how fat the guy is, what age he is, injuries, what time of day trains, etc. Even his temperament. Like we have to change the way that we coach based on the individual's personality. We don't do disc profiling, but we know pretty quickly how we need to speak to certain people. Some people like a chat, they need more encouragement. Others just want the information, the facts, etc. So it's just very difficult to articulate in a very simple way because it's not a really
Generalized.
simple answer.
Yeah.
No.
I think as we niche down a little bit, we can make it a lot more simple. Like when I turned 40.
No, I don't think that answer's complicated at all. I think it's always going to be somewhat... I don't think that's long-winded. That's just for lack of a better word. I think there's always going to be some nuance behind the explanation behind it. But the reality is if you could explain it in 5 seconds, it probably wouldn't work.
Or you could make an app out of it.
Well, I think that's the problem with the industry as a whole, is everyone's putting out so much content and so much out there and projecting this image that it's simple. It's just X. Again, because of short form content, because of everyone's attention spans being so short that it almost draws people into a false sense of what it takes to actually get the result, I think.
Well, that's the problem I've got with the fitness industry too is oftentimes the most, well, I'm not even calling famous, but influential, and therefore oftentimes the most lucrative or profitable, they don't have the best results for clients. So what do you actually, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I want to be known for the results. I want to have that movement where people are like, fuck, all right, I've tried everything else. Let's go with Mike and the rebuild. Let's do that. You know, not, oh my God, this guy's so funny. Let me buy his latest t-shirt or do his 8-week challenge. You know, so it is an industry. It's an interesting time.
Yeah, it's also the clientele that we're looking for. We're not looking for those clients. Like if you have 5 kilos of body fat to lose, or even some of the guys who make it into your inbox and they go, oh, mate, I've only got 5 kilos of body fat to lose. So, okay, well, that's fine. You can go and do something else if you need that. That's not the clients that want to work with us or need our help. Yeah. You know, we're working with the guys who've tried it time and time again and haven't had success, or they've got 15, 20, 30, 40 kilos of body fat to lose, maybe 10. Some guys it's a little bit less. If you want to be watching a comedy show and have a funny t-shirt or whatever it may be, that's fine. Go work with someone else.
Yeah. And there's not many places you can go where you can lose fat, you know, build muscle and improve your metabolism naturally at pretty much any age.
No.
And that's because we are so, you know, tailor-made to the individual. And we know what we're doing. Like the system is built to optimize those columns. You know, number one being fat loss. You need to be able to lose fat in a way that's sustainable for you. In my opinion, it's calorie manipulation and resistance training. You know, a lot of the guys that are big, 120 kilos plus, they can't do boot camps. They can't do 60 minutes of walking because their knees and back and ankles and everything else is stuffed because they're carrying too much weight. But guess what they can do? They can get on a lat pull down, non-weight bearing exercise. They can get on a bench press. They can do a bicep curl. They can get on a leg press. They can do leg extensions. They can do hammy curls. They can do all that stuff. And in my opinion, it's more enjoyable going in and progressing and getting all the hormonal benefits and everything else, you know, strengthening of the ligaments, the bone density, etc. And then calorie manipulation. So we use those two as our tools to get the client as lean as they want. That's body fat. Muscle building, we use resistance training. You know, your protein's customized based on how much muscle mass you've got. We don't give you a whole list of muscle building subs. We do have some. If you want to use them, we don't say to get on TRT or any peptides or anything like that. We show people how to gain muscle at any age naturally. And then part of the rebuild is we rebuild their metabolism by what they eat, the foods that they eat, help that, focusing on sleep, cutting out certain things. A lot of clients cut out alcohol, etc. And that's how we do it. You know, where else can you go? We get all three of those results. You lose fat, not weight, fat. You gain muscle.
Well,
and you fix your metabolism.
That's a very important distinction that you made there as well. You know, and again, I'll speak to my experience with different coaches too, which is you don't keep your muscle tissue in a lot of those extreme scenarios.
Well, you're losing weight, not fat.
Exactly right. So you end up with this physique, which is skinny fat, and what I like to call cancer patient chic, where you look like everything's just sucked out of your soul, basically.
And the thing is too, oftentimes your metabolism's been slowed down in that process. So you're absolutely like, you're out in the middle of the ocean in a boat without the engine working or a paddle. You're fucked. You're destined to put all that weight back on. Because you've lost weight, you've lost lean body mass or fat-free mass, which is the driver for speeding up your metabolism.
Yeah.
You've been starved typically.
Yeah.
And you're there and you're not even satisfied.
100%.
So what do you do?
And at that point too, one of two things happens is one, you start to eat at maintenance, and because you've just blown back up to maintenance, you put on so much weight in that process, right?
Well, it's no longer maintenance now, it's a fucking surplus now.
Exactly right. Or you reverse diet, but your new maintenance is nowhere near as high as what it could have been if you had done it in the right way and rebuilt properly. So, and I know for me, and again, a lot of our clients and a lot of the guys who come in at the weight that we come in at, we are there because we love food a little bit too much, right? So for us, it's definitely beneficial to not have as low a metabolism, or as low a budget, the daily budget for food, because we're just going to put it all back on.
Yeah. Well, if you like your food, you really need to have a good maintenance at the body fat percentage that you want.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the important part that a lot of people miss as well. They get so fixated on the scale number and they ignore the other stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I mean, just for context too, maintenance is how many calories your body requires to maintain its current shape. So I used to get a lot of questions, what's my maintenance? I'm like, well, to maintain the body that you've got at the moment, which is 120 kilos, does it really matter what that maintenance is? Because you don't want to maintain that. That's not where you want to be. But I suggest it would be somewhere between whatever and whatever.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about what are the maintenance calories from the position in which you want to look.
Definitely.
That's where the focus needs to be. And we can get that quite high.
Yeah.
As we did with Alex Peacock. His maintenance are like 2,800. He's a school teacher, so he's sedentary as well. Matty Ward, as you know, Ryan Thomas, his maintenance calories are fantastic. Even Suki, your maintenance calories are pretty good now as well.
Yeah.
We'll get in there depending on what you're doing. My maintenance, I don't even know when my maintenance are because I don't track. I see what I want. If I'm filming, I'll eat a bit less that week or fortnight. If I'm not, I might splurge a bit. So it doesn't have to be that hard.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, well, you know, sort of from my perspective, to give anyone a bit of context who's maybe new or not a part of the system, obviously my role within the program and everything that we do is very honest. I'm sure you can tell that by, you know, now from listening to us, or if you even clicked onto this podcast, it's probably because of how authentic the program is. From our perspective, we're not the cheapest program out there, and part of the reason why that is because of how tailor fit the program is, how much detail we go into the program, how much experience we've got, and also the fact that we can pretty much guarantee the result if you actually follow through with the process that we provide to you. But to not necessarily speak about what we do, but what the rest of the fitness industry does, you're paying for what you get at the end of the day. And for most guys, to almost reiterate what I said at the start of the call, you're paying for a before and after photo in the grand scheme of things. When you're taking a look at a coach, one of the pieces of advice I'll give to guys, if they don't enroll with us for whatever reason, maybe, you know, not the right time financially, or for whatever reason they can't commit to it, what I say to them is take a look at whatever your budget is. Maybe that's a weekly thing. Put that money aside as if you weren't paying for a coach. As if you were already paying for a coach. And then ultimately, whenever you decide to make an investment in your health and fitness, make sure that that investment is going to be fundamentally in education at the end of the day. You're going to be working with someone who's actually going to sit down with you and teach you more information so that by the time you get to the end of that program, you're actually going to be able to maintain the result as well. And what you can do as a bit of a filter when you take a look at other programs out there, because one of the pieces of feedback I'll get from guys is, you know, I'll just go work with a cheaper PT. Ask that coach, hey, what kind of success rate do your clients actually have by the time that they leave? If you didn't come in and work with us for whatever reason, use that as a bit of a filter to take a look at, hey, this is actually where the rest of the fitness industry is at. There's not many programs out there. I don't think there's really any that I'm super, super aware of where they've got consistent clients coming through that program who are getting results and then learning how to maintain it. We just sat down with a client, Phil Zada, 10, 15 minutes ago, who came into the system 3 years later. The guy's been able to maintain his result. We've got plenty of clients in the system, Ryan Thomas, I think, or James Ward that we're in contact with now, not a part of the program more, but they've been able to maintain the result. So when you're taking a look at an investment in terms of your health and fitness, don't just think A to B. Don't just think, where am I going to get in terms of the result with that coach for the next 100 days? Think about, What information am I actually going to pull from that program? How much ability have I got to then maintain it? And where is that going to leave me at the end of that 100 days? Because if you just drop it off to put it back on 6 to 12 months later, that investment that you made, even though it may have been a cheaper one, was not a good investment. You fucking may as well just burn that money if you put the weight back on 6 to 12 months later.
Very good. And that's the thing. We're not a 12-week program, though. We're a rebuild.
No, but...
And that's where, being able to define what a rebuild is super important.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, that, for anyone maybe listening, that's our job as a coaching staff, which is why we're doing these podcasts, to try and get this information out there, that there is a difference between systems out there and what it is that we're doing versus other programs. And you can get a result and you can maintain it. It is possible with what it is that we're doing. There's not just a 12-week fat loss challenge waiting for you when you come into the program. It can be a lifestyle that you can sustain, which is why we have clients sitting in these seats and we do podcasts with them. We don't just make funny TikTok videos and have Mike as the owner of the business trying to entertain our guys. We would rather show our clients on our social media. Take a scroll through Mike's Instagram page. The large majority of the time, it's just before and after photos of clients or Mike in the gym with a client. And that's work that we have put in. Those are guys that we have flown down from another state or from, they've driven hours away, taken time out of their day. We've taken time out of our day to show the result that those guys are getting, because we genuinely care. We wouldn't do it if we didn't care. We wouldn't be putting this much work in if we didn't care. Yeah. So at the end of the day, think about where that money's going, in short, and invest it fucking properly. Stop wasting your own fucking time and money, because yes, this might be more expensive in the short term, but for a bloke who's maybe 30 to 40 to maybe in your late 50s, you've got another 10 to 15 years of a good life ahead of you, maybe 20, 25 until you hit 60. That's a long time to be fumbling around with your health and fitness if you don't do it properly or you don't learn to do it properly. Think long term.
What's the old saying, right? Poor man pays twice.
Yeah.
And I'm a poor man that paid 12 times before I got to Mike. So
Yeah.
I guarantee you the 12 investments add up to a lot more than I paid to work with Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, there, if anyone listening, you might sense a slight bit of frustration in my voice when I'm talking about it. And the frustration is not that I speak to guys and they don't enroll in the program. Sometimes they just don't get it, even though I might be speaking to them like this. And I'm just like, man, for you to help yourself, this is what you need to do. I've done thousands of calls with guys. I know what your problem is before you probably get on the phone. Mm-hmm. Part of the call is for me to get you to realize what your problems are so that you can then get out of your own way. So, take a look at the experience we've got. Take a look at the results that we've got. We have your best interest in mind at the end of the day. Get out of your own way. Don't do it 12 times like Eman had to. Mm-hmm. Take advice from someone who's got the results, coaches within the system, and they've been able to maintain it. Take a look at the other clients within the program as well. Watch those client testimonials. I think a lot of guys out there will use this excuse that because a program is online, I've got a bit of skepticism. Like, almost all of our social medias are findable in the program. These are all our real first and last names. We've been around the system for 5 years now. You don't think we would have potentially got shut down or we'd be there scamming guys or whatever it may be. It's like, take a look at things on face value for what they are. It's very evident this is not bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, have some critical thinking about you.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over.
No, good rant. Good rant. Good rant.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's where the word challenge has ruined everybody. I mean, 8-week challenge was brought in by F45, which at the end of the day is a business. It is a franchisable business. F45's goal is to get as many suckers to buy a franchise of theirs as possible. They don't give a fuck about the result. Like you said, that was the start of it in the fitness industry. I've been in the fitness industry for a very long time. My first gym membership I'm 16 years old. So what year was that? 2002 or something. You born then?
Yeah. Yes.
You weren't walking though. You were 2.
I could have been crawling. I don't know.
2002, I had a gym membership, man. I've seen all of it come here in Australia. And F45 was the start. And then we see these online, whatever you want to call them, influencers, fitfluencers, entertainers, whatever you want to call them, doing challenges, preying on that psychology of, I'm going to do an 8-week challenge and get fit for 8 weeks. But then what happens after that? You're back fucking... And every time you do one of those and you bring your calories down stupid low or you invest money, you're losing faith in yourself being able to do it, and oftentimes you're ruining your metabolism.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's costing you money, but it's also costing you time to actually get the result when you wake up and realize that this is what you actually need to fucking do.
I find the irony around that, the actual fact that they're called challenges. Like if the program is a challenge for you while you're a part of it and it's really hard to maintain and you flog yourself and get your calories down really low, why would you want to stick to it long term? Like,
it's not designed for it to stick to long term though, mate, because it's built with a business model in mind.
Yeah, I know. My thought process is like, as much as this might challenge you, it shouldn't be necessarily challenging. Yes, we're going to challenge you to be accountable and to actually take a look at what it is you want to achieve long term, but it shouldn't be like the hardest thing you've ever done. And I think for a lot of guys, those programs are. They will purposely flog you. Like you'll go to those workouts with the intention of mind of they're like, no, we're going to beat you down and get the weight off as quickly as possible, you know, or they'll have a before and after photo with, before and after photo, they'll take in-body scans and see who has dropped the most amount of body fat off. So then you've got guys being incentivized to essentially starve themselves to the best of their ability to get just a really good sort of prize or whatever it may be, and they're challenging themselves in that way. This should challenge you mentally. It should challenge you as a person. It should challenge your identity and who you want to be. It should challenge who you want to be as a dad or as a role model to your kids or as a husband in your work life, relationships, etc. But it shouldn't be challenging to the point where your body's just being completely destroyed within that process. It should be rebuilt. You should be rebuilding metabolism, rebuilding confidence, rebuilding self-worth, rebuilding your identity as a man. All of those things should be uplifted. It's going to be challenging, but it's not going to destroy you within the process. Yeah. Most other things will.
Well, every client has the same bit of feedback for us at the end anyway, which is that it's the result they got is the best they ever got in their life, and it was the easiest by the end of it anyway. Because yes, the first 2 weeks will be the hardest it'll ever have to be, is essentially what I tell all my clients in the first call I have with them. The first 2 weeks is the hardest it ever is if you can stick to it. From there, it gets easier, and every client says the exact same thing. It was actually way easier than any challenge they've ever done.
Yeah, because it's not a challenge, it's a rebuild.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, should we just keep repeating ourselves?
Yeah.
Well,
we should.
You kind of have to. Easiest way to explain a rebuild is it's all this. Pictures of all the testimonials.
And go back to the start and watch the whole video.
I mean, another way of saying it is to get in your best shape of your life and be able to maintain it. You know, be equipped with all the skills, knowledge, mindset, the shift in identity to be able to maintain it. And we guarantee it for a result because we're working on it with our hands, with everything, you know, contemplation, we listen, we fucking, all we talk about really is our clients and our prospects. Really, there's not too much outward conversation that isn't involving that. We obsess over, you know, getting the best results for guys that are willing to follow our system and, you know, follow a certain credence. Really, it's pretty easy too. You know, 5 workouts a week. Most of our meal plans have 4 meals, 2 solids, 2 shakes, and a bunch of snacks allocated. You know, we tell you to look after your sleep, get 8 hours, so your hormones get optimized, and you know you can think properly throughout the day. Cut the piss. You know, write down gratitude in the morning to just clear your head. And that's pretty much all we do, really. There's 6 foods that we recommend that you take. One of them is red meat. No, it won't give you gout. we love that one, don't we? Had that one twice, I think, out of about, 5,000 clients. I've had 2 people claim that eating red meat's given them gout, which is, we won't even go to that. And that's that, really. Like I said earlier, where else can you go where you lose fat, build muscle, and fix your metabolism? Where else can you do all 3 of those in one spot?
Your local test dealer?
And then you stop that, and then what happens?
Oh, yeah, correct.
Yeah, this is not going to be a TRT podcast.
No,
or an Ozempic podcast, or any other shortcut podcast. We won't do that.
That's the next one.
That's next week.
Yeah.
That's next episode. All right. Any final words for you guys? I mean, my final words is the juice is worth a squeeze. Everybody that's done a rebuild has never once said, I really wish you guys were cheaper. Or I didn't enjoy it, or it was a real grind, it was real fucking hard to do it. Now that I'm done, I'm gone. Like, we've never had that. That's why we interview them. They're almost like mates. You know, they're almost like affiliates, which they're not. But
yeah, and a lot of them transparently will go, I wish you weren't as much as you were, but once I got the result and I saw how much detail you went into, I can see why it was that much.
The other thing too, man, like the fact that we are a little bit more for our result versus a 12-week challenge, it's very hard to understand this with the marketing from the government saying cost of living crisis, blah, blah, blah. But every time you spend a little bit more than you want on something, you appreciate it more and you treat it with more care. For example, your new car. How do you look after that versus your old car? Which one was more expensive? And the guys that come in and invest with us, they actually treat that period of time seriously because it did sting their wallet.
Yeah.
Whereas when they go and spend $90 a week or
no, you don't give a fuck.
$60 a week, they don't care, mate. That kind of investment, it's not enough commitment to keep you out of the pub on a Friday if the boss has like grounded your gears. Yeah. Or if the missus is giving you shit and you guys are having another fucking fight over whatever, 60, 70, 90, 100, $150 a week is not going to stop you from binge eating or having a six-pack in the shed on your own to try and get a peace of mind. But when you do a rebuild and you commit with us and we're focused on the goal and we teach you the importance of that and the psychology and everything else, you are going to commit in that moment.
Definitely.
So it's actually a good thing. My first business coach, I've told you guys this a bunch of times, was $18,000. I didn't have that. I was, out of my last job, I didn't have it. He gave me a payment plan, and I paid it off with the money that I made from the course. But guess what? I treated that fucking course extremely seriously. The course before that, I spent $500 on, went through a little bit of it, went, this guy's a wanker, whatever, and didn't just dump the 500. Didn't care. Because I spent the money, I fucking treated it seriously. And I was able to build, a pretty decent business with a great movement that's helped thousands of blokes in Australia. So I use that example all the time. Your card has come to me then.
Sorry?
Your card has come to me then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see whose car's quicker after this. So.
All right, well, that's it. Until next time, stay natty. And for those of you guys that are in the rebuild at the moment, trust the process. We've got your back. We're not withholding information. We are getting you there as fast as possible. And we just need you to trust the process, guys. We've got this. We know what we're doing. Looking forward to you to being the next success story as well.
Yeah, it's a seat right over there that someone's going to be in.
There is.
It is a free invite. I mean, we're not. There's no one who would get to what 10% is the goal we set.
Yep.
If you get to 10%, you go sit in that seat.
Yep.
It's pretty much as simple as that.
And you
train with Mike.
We'll fly you down if you're not from Melbourne. Get
to meet me and Eman. I guess we're all right.
All right.
Exactly.